What? We're live. Oh.
Hey, Corey. And Granny Whisper, how y'all doing? Give us a second. We're just kind of getting set up.
What?
How y'all doing tonight? I am going to subject Stevie to the video of the mother uh, talking, not the mother and the father, but just the mother alone. Little Miss Stubborn had wanted to see this the other night, so we'll give it a shot. Corey has COVID.
Oh, Lord. Well, that's nothing to laugh at, though.
She's laughing.
I feel like we never get rid of COVID. I mean, obviously, but like the world will never get rid of it,
Yeah, she's not happy about it. She just got over a sickness too, like back-to-back
you know?
sicknesses. Anyway, so
My thoughts and prayers are with you, boy.
anyway, this is the mother responding to Shanny saying all kind of bad stuff about her. She said things like, her mom abused her, and you heard the waterboarding stuff last night. So let's just get into this.
See if this thing is working. Hi. Okay, I wasn't gonna do this, but I watched Chris's videos. This is concerning Shanny for Christ. I watched Chris's videos, and I just think that it's about time that I get my side of the story out for a change. Because I noticed that Jason has been making comments about things he doesn't even understand or know about. But first of all, I just want to say to Chris that, yeah, you screwed up some things, but you were a good father, and I just want you to know that. Before you came along, Zachary didn't smile much. I mean, he didn't respond to people, and those boys really loved you, Zachary especially, but
So here she's talking about Chris, which is Shanny's ex-husband, which I guess she's kind of addressing him. Do you not want me to stop and tell you
No,
stuff?
it's fine.
Okay.
I'm listening.
All right. So, he cheated on her basically, and then the relationship fell apart.
So this Chris fella, why is she?
I don't know. I think it was fresh on the heels of them. Well, no, maybe not. I don't know. She just liked.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because was he like part of their online presence at any time, or?
I don't think so much. I think he was just kind of in the background a little bit. But, I think out of all the people that Shanny had been with, he seemed to be the most, the nicest.
In the mom's eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
it was like the light turned on when you came into his life. And I just want you to know that. Nobody should ever question what a good father you were. You were a good provider, too. You did the best you could. I mean, I know you don't make that much money, but you did the best you could. And she sat there year after year, getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and wouldn't work. I understand that. But I just needed to thank you for being a part in the boys' lives. Shannon has told you many things. I tried to warn you. Her father and I tried to warn you about her before.
Oh yeah, so that's a good point, Corey.
Wow.
Chris only cheated as his brother caught Shanny sexting with Rev. So Chris's brother caught her.
Okay.
Okay, we'll continue.
I mean, I don't know the mom that well, but to say I don't know. And my thoughts are like, why would you sit there and talk about your daughter getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger? You know, like that rubs me the wrong
Because
way.
I mean, she's been horrible to her
To her
mom.
mom.
Horrible.
I mean, I don't know the whole story, so it
Okay.
just seems like something.
It does. Look, she has a couple of qualities that I kind of question too, but they straight up just abused by Shandy her, as she was in her teenage years or late teenage years.
But of course, you wouldn't listen. She was your wife. I understand that. Jason's not going to listen either. He's going to have to find out the hard way. But nobody's abused Shannon, okay? That is her MO. She uses that with everybody. She did it with Douglas. She's done it with you. She's done it with her sister, her brothers. Everybody in her life has always treated her this way, and this is why she's so crazy. I mean, it covers for her mental illness. And she knows she's mentally ill, and she knows what she's supposed to do to help that mental illness, but she chooses not to.
It's kind of what you were saying the other night.
She chooses.
Yeah. I mean, I can see what her mom's saying. Like, she knows that she's mentally ill, and she talks about it. She talks about being diagnosed with all these different things. But a diagnosis is not an excuse to act out. It's something. It's not a label either, like necessarily, right? It's not a label.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I always tell my patients or my clients, like, it's when they get stuck behind the label, like, it's not a label for you to label yourself. It's a criteria that you meet, right? There's certain criteria that you meet, that you have this diagnosis so that we know how to not only treat you, but also that the insurance companies will pay for it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not
something to fall
so
behind
that
and say,
you
oh,
can
well,
hide
I'm just
behind-
this.
Yeah. Well, so I hear a lot of borderline personality disorders, people that are diagnosed with that say, well, I'm borderline, that's why. I'm like, no, that's not an excuse.
Right.
It's not an excuse. It's not something to hide behind. More importantly, it's something to say, okay, I'm diagnosed with this. I have to take responsibility for my healing. I know we talked about that last night.
We did.
Like, I have to take responsibility for the things that, like we all do, right?
Right. Totally.
We all have to take responsibility for our lives. And so, I mean, I think my mother's right in saying that.
Yeah.
I just see sickness as, I'm not trying to take up for Shanny. I know a lot of people
Better
are
not.
saying that I do.
Better
I know.
not.
I'm not trying to take up for her mom either. I just think that a lot of these things that are happening is a family dynamic too, right? There's
100%.
Like, I can see by her saying, she's in the house hiding behind the camera, getting bigger, bigger, bigger. How that's something that's probably hurtful to hear your mother say. The person that's your nurturer, the person that's supposed to be behind you 100%, the person who's, and maybe I'm projecting my crap,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it takes a whole family unit to, none of us are perfect, and I'm sure she's defending herself from the things that Shanny has said about her that aren't true, but
right.
The same sense, like,
hey, chicken tender, how you doing? I get that. But at this point, they like
a different outlook on stuff.
She has done
I feel
some.
like I'm gonna piss some people off.
It's okay. No, it's what we want to hear it. We do. We all hate her, but we do want to know exactly what,
And
you
see,
think
I
about
don't
it from a
hate her. I don't
professional.
have like
Well,
any.
yeah, I
I'm
say
not
hate, but
as invested
we
as
have
far as
no
you guys
love for
are.
her. We'll just say that,
Right.
you know.
Right. Okay.
Okay, let's continue.
Not, she chooses to use it as an excuse to do what she does. And I don't have to explain what she does. I mean, she makes these outrageous videos all the time. She's always crying and carrying on and always, always something negative. Since she was 16 years old, I don't want to say her entire life because she was a beautiful child. I mean, she really was a very beautiful child and happy girl. She used to sing and she dreamed of going to Paris. And
See, this is the thing about her. You can see that she remembers good things. It's not like something that she's always hated about. Yeah.
I'm
What?
not gonna cry.
Don't cry.
I'm not gonna cry.
What are
I'm
you gonna
so
cry
hormonal.
for?
I'm not. I'm sorry.
It's
So
okay.
hormonal. Um, I think that there's a mom that's just her heart's breaking. Like her heart's broken. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
She's talking
it was.
about her little girl that's not a little girl anymore and has chose to do some things that are hurtful to her family
Right.
and that's hurting herself. That I mean this whole situation to me is heartbreaking. But
It is. I hope that there would have been some closure before the mom died, where I'm sure there was some forgiveness on the mom's part way before that.
I mean I
She'd
do
come to peace with the fact that Shanny was not
correct,
within her reach.
right? And how sad as a mom of three girls.
Horrible.
Like I'm just kind of like I'm sorry guys. I'm so hormonal. This is like
It's all good, man.
I'm
This
so
is real.
sorry. I have a heart for people and I hurt for people that I mean we all have broken stories I guess, but people that just kind of don't
Hey,
don't
Mega.
get help. They don't want it. It's heartbreaking to me.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, but if they don't want it, you can't. You
I
know that
know,
you can't
I know,
force it.
I know. And I think I saw in the comments somebody said that she was saying that her parents were pimping her out.
Yes. So in the
But
last video we
yeah,
watched,
we
she was
saw
saying that, right?
So yeah, I think that's pretty disgusting, and especially when they're not here to like say, hey, this
100%.
is not true, or this is what happened, or whatever. How she uses that as kind of propaganda to get what she wants is kind of sick. What she wants is people to align with that are victims so that she can continue to be a victim.
100%. She wants to be a lazy victim and for people to adore her.
So
And
I'm just wondering, where was that birth from?
well,
Like
the theory is that it was birthed whenever she had some kind of traumatic event. I think her mom probably talks about it here. She had something traumatic that happened when she was 16 that I told you about, remember?
I'm just wondering, was she validated? Was she ever validated? Did her parents validate that?
I think they did.
Maybe I don't
It
know.
was in a
I'm
time where her
so
parents were not together. So, like, her parents had broken up and she was with another man, maybe another one after that. And I think it happened in
her
that
mother?
time.
So
Her
mother
mom,
had different
partners after, and then the parents came back together.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that
Yeah,
that
okay.
could have its own trauma
Absolutely.
to it for sure. All right, let's continue.
notice the picture in the back of the Eiffel Tower. And that reminds me of Shannon, the little Shannon, when my daughter.
That's a good point, Lucy.
But something happened along the way. I know what happened. I think you know what happened, Chris, to her. And it wasn't, it was, it you know, it was unfortunate that she went through what she went through when she was 16 years old, but it somehow changed her. And ever since then, she has blamed everybody else for all the screw-ups that she makes in her life. She uses it as an excuse that, except when it comes to what happened when she was 16 years old. And I'm not going to talk about it here because it was traumatic what happened to her. And I have to say, as bad as this sounds, something inside of me tells me that maybe it didn't happen the way she said it happened. But something had to have happened for her to have turned out as she has.
Oh, well, that's
She has crashed and burned just about every single...
She's saying she doesn't even know exactly if it happened or not. She thinks that maybe there's some part of it that's...
She's not denying that it happened. She said, I don't know if it happened the way that Shanny says it happened.
Right. Well...
Which,
I can definitely see her lying about whatever it was for the exact same reason that she's still doing it, to become a victim. I'm not saying that something didn't happen, but who knows? We'll never know.
And I think a lot of deception is birthed through when people don't feel validated, when they don't feel like you're not recognizing the traumatic situation that happened to me or the trauma that it
So you mean that she could ramp it up just because nobody was really...
Yeah.
That makes sense, I guess. It could be that.
That could be an explanation, It could be... Is she an only girl in her?
She has, I think, a couple more siblings. She has a brother and definitely a sister. There may be more than that, if somebody in the chat knows.
Do you know her birth order?
Somebody in the chat let me know that birth order if y'all know, because I'm not sure. I think she has a younger brother and maybe an older sister.
So she's a middle child.
Maybe. Could be wrong, though. I don't know. For some reason, I don't know that one.
That would make sense to me. A little bit, more.
Corey says Shanny was told not to hang around these older people, and she wouldn't listen. You know the mouth Shanny has. I think she mouthed off to the wrong person, and they taught her a lesson. I mean, that very well could be. 2 brothers, Joey and another brother, and a sister named Aaron.
Is she one of the middle children?
Let's see. Older sister, Shanny, and 2 younger brothers. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Together we can do this with knowledge.
Relationship in her life. And I'm not going to keep this video up for very long. I just want to be able to make my side of the story and make things clear. She's got people like Miss Star and a couple of people that, feel really sorry for her, but they don't realize how much she has affected everybody in her life. I mean, every one of her siblings and both of her parents have helped her out over and over and over again. And she walks all over them. She crashes and burns her bridges behind her. This is the last time that my husband and I are ever going to be able to help her again. I mean, she nearly destroyed us during this last stay when you and her broke up. She's got Jason believing that there was abuse. There was no abuse going on whatsoever. We bought her clothes, we bought her makeup, we bought her, she got to use her father's car every single day. Even when she wasn't working, she got to use her father's car, his truck. We got an SUV that her father used at that time. So, I mean, she had a way to work, but she wanted to lay in bed for months. She got fired from her first job for making videos on YouTube. Okay? And she knows I gotta blow my nose. I'm sorry. I feel like crying right now. But she knows that she had to take care of her children. She doesn't do that. She expects everybody else to take care of them. That's her thing. So she got fired from her first job. She laid up in the bed for months doing nothing but drinking alcohol and crying all the time, making everybody miserable. Mostly what she was crying about was because Jason wasn't fully her boyfriend at the time. This is why I couldn't believe, when she finally did get him. I couldn't believe it when she finally did. But she said that she wanted him because he was a millionaire. This is the truth. She wanted him because he was a millionaire and she knew she wouldn't have to work anymore. And that she could just lay around eating. But she will never be able to give up wanting negative attention. She thrives on negative attention. She has done this since she was 16 years old.
What is that? Negative attention?
I don't think that she necessarily cares what type of attention she
Just
gets.
any kind?
Yeah. She's not getting positive attention, so it's just...
Negative attention will do, huh?
Negative attention is attention. So,
right.
I think that checks out as far as...
Yeah. I mean,
the things that she struggles with mental health-wise.
I think that's... Yeah, and that carries through to this day. Like, I don't think she loves it as much as the positive attention, but she barely gets any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Of course, I mean, we're
right.
kind of wired to want
give positive feedback.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's negative, then that's what it is.
But like the amount of things that she says are wrong with her, like she's claimed dementia.
Just the flavor of the week, whatever's.
Yeah, well, and she's used that dementia thing in the past to be like, however I acted in the past, I don't remember, because I'm just kind of losing it, guys. So I don't remember what I did, kind of thing.
It's sad to watch her, to me, because she's like a shell of a person, and she's just kind of whatever wind blows that week is what she latches on to.
It's true, totally true.
There's no identity, no, like, who is she? Like, who she really is. Like, she doesn't know, so no one else really knows.
Right, and this Allie Carter thing is just something she's been following online, where she can try to align herself.
2 weeks ago when we went on, or 3 weeks ago, she was talking about, she had the headdress on, just very disrespectful. The headdress and...
Oh yeah, the pair of panties on her head. Yeah. That's what it looked like.
When the Diddy stuff kind of kicked off.
Right.
So I think she desperately wants to be famous. She desperately wants attention. These are...
Yeah, she even in the past she claimed that like she was almost on Epstein Island, like Jeffrey Epstein.
I mean, like wild delusions, right?
Yeah.
But the mom keeps talking about like when she was 16. There's a lot of stuff that happens, like hormonally.
Right.
During those formative years, there's a lot of things that happen. Socially, right, to teenagers during those years, and I'm not making excuses for her. I'm saying like mental health problems don't just like happen. It's nature and nurture. And there's a lot of things that go into it.
Just bubbling around.
Laying in bed and getting drunk. I mean, that's
depression.
Oh my God. Like, right?
Yeah.
And a depression of the central nervous system. Like your whole body is depressed.
Right.
So.
And I think she really was depressed that Chris cheated on her, even though she was doing something that kind of gave him the excuse in his own mind to...
Because the narcissistic part of his personality, the narcissism is that word's thrown out. I think Shanny meets a lot of criteria for narcissism.
Yeah, I agree.
Narcissistic tendencies are in
people in general. Oh, okay, I got you.
Lack of empathy and the the self-centeredness. She, I think, um, you know, can't. The rejection was probably like confirmation of her deepest insecurities, and that's where a lot of narcissism lies, is
Insecurity?
insecurity. Oh yeah, absolutely, like the
So it is like
deepest of
true
insecurity.
projecting in a lot of
True
cases.
projecting. Yeah, like,
Interesting.
I yeah. She really probably feels deep down that she is kind of a how do I say this nicely?
Say it me.
No, I don't want to. How she probably feels like nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Deep down. And then when something like that happens, a person cheats, or it's kind of like this secret confirmation to her ego, like, see, you're not worth anything. Even if she was cheating, or she was, you know, doing that to this
So you
other
mean,
person. Yeah.
oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So in a way, it does affect her, but not using the same
And she's
circuitry as the rest of
correct.
the.
And she's not gonna like outwardly admit it ever.
Right.
Unless it gets her attention. Unless it
She's open about being
validates.
borderline. Like she's latched onto that. We don't know if she has ever been diagnosed
Well,
formally.
as a person that is a licensed professional
You would
in
say
the
so.
state, I would diagnose. And LPCs can diagnose.
Right.
So LPCSs too. So I would say, yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I thought of when I watched her for the very first
Yeah.
time. Like, wow, she's got some deep
Yeah,
stuff
just
going
based on
on.
what you've told me about it, I figured it was legit. But I think it's something she heard. It was never
But
diagnosed,
she's
but I could be wrong.
absolutely meets a lot of the criteria for it in the DSM-5.
There always has to be some kind of turmoil in her life. And if she doesn't have turmoil, she will create turmoil.
Exactly.
Just to get people to feel sorry for her for some reason. And then those people that feel sorry for her, then she craps on them afterwards. And I think a lot of people, a lot of you YouTubers and from the Christian community have experienced that with her. You figured that out the hard way. Like
Corey says she's not borderline, she's a malignant narcissist, just like her dad. So Corey grew
Just
up
like
with one.
Corey's dad?
Yeah, she grew up with somebody like that in her house.
I did as well.
Yeah.
2 parents, actually. But she has a lot of the borderline personality disorder.
Mhm.
She really does. I mean, that's what I would diagnose. There are a lot of narcissistic traits in BPD,
I think if you watch her more, you'll probably say, yeah, she's like a true narcissist. But
she can be both.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes
and,
sense.
And the reason why I say borderline is because the lack of identity, the dressing very scandalous,
Scandalous.
yeah, very revealing stuff. The drama, the histrionic, the lack of stability in relationships, kind of like throwing bombs and then walking away and watching how it destroys other people's lives, stuff like that. That's very BPD. She has a lot of narcissistic tendencies, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
the rest of us. So now, getting back to me and my husband, let me just tell you, while she stayed here, she did nothing but sleep in the bed all the time. We did everything we could to provide. I told her, I said, Dad, her father had just had his knees replaced, and living on blood. He's still taking blood thinners. I mean, it's only been since October that he had his knees replaced. And the first thing she did when he came home from the hospital is walk right into his knee, and didn't say anything about it. Went outside to smoke her cigarettes. She was mad at me because she couldn't smoke in my house, knowing that I have a heart condition. She had to go outside to smoke, even though it was my home. I couldn't be around smoke. I can't be around things like that. But she laid up in that room drinking every night. And let me tell you,
See you later, Corey. Have a good night.
Before she even got settled in, the deal was that she was going to get a job. and she was going to help out with the utilities because we were paying double the electricity, double our water bill. Actually, our water bill was more than double at times because the boys and her used to take really long showers and whatnot. So all of our utilities, were costing us extra, except for cable, of course, because we kept the internet on. We don't have cable. We have just internet. And to save money. I mean, my husband's 62 years old. He's getting ready to retire. We're just an older couple, going through a lot of health problems right now. But she didn't respect that either, She told Jason that all I ever wanted was to get money from her. And it's like, yeah, you know what? You have to pay for your way. You can't just expect people to support you for the rest of your life. We couldn't do it. We couldn't financially do it, and it was starting to cripple us. We both have a lot of medical bills. I had 2 heart surgeries. I had abdominal surgery just before Shannon came. And I was rapidly losing weight at the time. I'm much better now, but I was like going down to skin and bones for a while there because I was so sick after my abdominal surgery. I ended up with a bacteria and had to go on antibiotics. And I mean, it was just terrible. Meanwhile, putting up with her stuff, with the crying every night and drinking every night and smoking weed with her kids in the house, terrified that. And then she'd invite people over. This one homeless guy, and she'd invite him over, and all he was actually a meth addict. I know that you didn't do meth, Chris. I'm positive about that. That's not your thing. I'm sorry you had to go through what you had to go through. I really am. We tried to warn you, but you didn't listen. But anyway, that's water under the...
Can you imagine?
So, yeah, because narcissists and even full-on personality disorder people that suffer with these conditions, they are very charming people. Very draw you in. So of course, like, especially with someone who's maybe empathetic, which I think Red, from watching him, probably was on top of the alcohol use that he
was empathetic towards her.
Was probably.
She had a long time to work on him too. She had a long time to weave her.
She met him in a Christian community, correct?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
It was in a debate community. It was like atheists and Christians like doing debates. And
so, I mean, she studied him for a while.
Yeah, she was on the atheist side.
Yeah, I'm sure. And so that's what people like that do, Thing is I don't know as much as you guys do about Shanny. She may have some antisocial personality tendencies, but she's not like out here, well, that we know of, killing people. Is she?
No, but she could care less if people died. I mean, she didn't even worry about her kids being, eating or anything. She did literally nothing to get them back either. So, to me, that's as good as,
I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of devastating to me that somebody wants to live like that. But I think it would. I've said this before. I've said this in the last 3 streams. I really think it would break her, physically and mentally. It would break her.
She just couldn't take any responsibility for. I mean, she's done so much,
So her psyche, that's her way of protecting herself.
It's like a iron dome around her.
I'm so great, and you're gonna believe I'm great.
Right. That makes sense.
You know how great I am and what I've risen above, and that I was this victim, and that I'm so I'm just so blessed. She uses God a lot. Like,
she really does.
God has taken me and kept me as this martyr. I'm so great, and so So I think that that's, of course, they're gonna lure you in with their charm and deceit,
Yeah, and it
you
does
know,
work on some people.
and yeah, and it does work on some people, but it's not. Some people say, oh, it only works on weak-minded people. No, that's not the case.
You don't
I
think?
mean, no, I have professionals that I work with, which is why we often get together and collaborate about patients, is because like you have to check yourself with these patients because they're so good at
They
what
can
they
just
do.
kind of
I
have
mean,
your
we're
number, huh?
professionals, yeah, and we still have to consult, you know, because they're very good at what they do. I don't think Shanny is as good as.
She's not.
I
She's a
don't think.
dumbass.
Yeah, I don't think she's like. But there are some people out there that you just are
Yeah,
just
I've said
captivated by.
that.
There's celebrities that are like that. There are news anchors that I've seen that are like that. They're just so. I say one in particular that I'm thinking of, but you know, there's people on YouTube. Since you've got me into YouTube, I was, you know, scrolling through YouTube. I know we were talking about it this weekend about some of the. It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy the different.
I've always said that about Shani. Is if she was smart, she would be really dangerous to
I'm
people.
telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Like that's where I think the anti-social. If she was smart, she'd be probably a little more dangerous
for sure.
to us.
I mean, I do believe that.
If she was if she was intelligent. You know, all the effort she puts into this stuff, she could probably get a job doing something and being good at
She
it, you
could. She could
know,
be
but
working from home, doing like I don't know
or
something,
being a
customer
mom.
service.
If she put that much effort into being a mother as she does, you know.
Right.
Bridge now. I don't want to make you feel bad, but you're doing the right thing. It's time for you to just move on with your life and just put her aside. As far as Jason goes, he has threatened my husband. He said he threatened a 62-year-old man on blood thinners with 2 knees just replaced that he'd come over and punch him in the face. And now he's doing this.
Chicken Tender says ODD. What is ODD?
Oppositional defiant disorder.
You think that you? She says I know ODD is usually only diagnosed in childhood, but not all children grow out of it.
Yeah, and then they often say that ODD turns into antisocial personality disorder. Um, ODD, oppositional defiant, we just see that a lot nowadays. And I think ODD can be in adults as well. Like, but in order to be diagnosed with something, remember it has to like cause you extreme distress socially, interpersonally,
Before you even look
and
at it, right?
right. Well, and then most people that are diagnosed with these types of things don't see it as a problem. They see you as the problem.
Yeah,
You having the problem with them as the problem.
exactly.
You know,
She's
like
very good
there's
at
some
that.
ODD you have, baby.
Oh, I
Sometimes,
know.
and it depends, like with the government or with people telling you, like what
You
you.
damn right. Don't nobody told me. I've had people
Right.
tell me my
Which
whole life.
you were so, on a lighter note, you were so good in the military, like so good in the military.
Yeah, I feel like I paid my nickel. Stop telling me what to
Well,
do.
but that's my thing. Like, it's crazy to me how great you were in the military, being so oppositional defiant as you are.
I wasn't. I was good.
I
I just don't want
know.
nobody to tell me anymore. I was like,
I
I did my
know.
time. We're done with that
I
phase of
have a
my life,
feeling
you
since your
know?
parents were like, you need to go at 17, that you were probably a little oppositional.
No, I was a good kid. They were just like, this is going to be your college, the way to college. That was why they allowed me. Dad, just
I'm just
whatever,
picking on
good
you.
idea.
I know why. I'm just saying.
Boxing video like he's going to hit you. I mean, what an asshole. This is a man of
It's about
God.
halfway. You want me to put it on
You know,
1.25?
the only justice out of this is that Jason's going to find out on his own what she's all about. When somebody gets married, they're supposed to be focused on their husband, their new husband. They're in love. They're supposed to be happy, and she has kids too. She's supposed to be focusing on them. But no, she's got to make videos about her ex-husband. 8 months after you've been divorced. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But that's Shannon's MO. This is what Shannon does, and she does it well. She destroyed Doug the same way. Doug and his mother were abusive. His mother, actually her first husband, the father of her children, because I know a lot of people think that you were the boy's biological father, which he's not.
You know what I just thought of?
What's that?
And this could not be the case at all, but it just made me think. At 16, she may have been like this her whole life.
You think so?
Well, you know, around 5 is when your personality kind of is set, right?
Really? Okay.
And then, well, that's the statistics. That's what they say. I don't know. And then this thing happened at 16, and she figured out, oh, well, if I can
That may have been
claim
when
the
it clicked.
victim, yeah, if I can claim the victim and say that, not that I'm not discrediting that something happened to her.
Right.
I'm not saying that at all. But if I can say that something happened and gain the sympathy from others, I can get what I want. And maybe that's where her mother says multiple times at 16 is where she kind of
Changed.
for
That's the first time it
her.
clicked in her mind that it could work for
And
her.
it can work for her probably. Like I can get
That
what
makes
I want.
sense.
I can,
Because she was, they keep talking about what a good kid she was, but she seems like from the way her parents interacted with her, that they loved her very, very much.
yeah.
And she was like a child model. She was like pretty younger. And I think that they were probably just like pouring, like, you are great
She was
and
probably
good,
overvalued.
over-validated. So
And
is
then
that,
when you grow up, you kind of, when you have parents like that, you start to have to grow up, and you're told no, and you can't get your way all the time.
Right.
And then 16 comes, this happens to her, this victimization. She's getting a lot of attention for it.
Mhm.
It's negative and positive, probably. Um, and she figures out, hey, if I can claim to be the victim and align
let's keep this
myself
train
that way,
rolling.
yeah,
Yeah.
why
That makes
not?
sense.
I don't have to.
I think that's probably closer to the truth, and I've never thought about it that way, that, maybe it wasn't something that uh, happened to her that kind of kicked her into that
But
drive,
it was a
but it was already,
progression. Yeah,
I was already inside of her.
And being a
Interesting.
middle kid, I mean, that has a whole. There's something, I don't know if anybody wants to look this up, but there's something called first order theory, and it's very
Tell me.
interesting.
Tell me all about it.
Well, I don't know. I don't claim to be an expert at any of this stuff. I mean, I know
Well,
I
everybody's
have a
kind of familiar with,
master's
like, oh, you're a middle child, you're like,
in
and
the
that
science of
personality.
psychology, but I don't claim to be like know the DSM is about as thick as probably like a Bible.
Thicker than a Bible, yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot in there to unpack, and I don't know everything, but what I do know is, we have these theories that they've been proven statistically as like a statistical average across the board. So like birth order theory is very interesting if you want to look it up. It just says that like your birth order in your family determines a lot of your characteristics.
Like your personality and stuff like that?
Personality, how you handle a lot of different, like just life, So
Is that why youngest kids are always like wild children that nobody can like tame, or does that tend to be the thing? I feel like young kids are like, parents aren't really paying attention as much. They're fine.
Or they have a lot of different people paying attention to them.
Right.
Siblings, parents, grandparents. So it just depends on the family, and it depends on your birth order, and it depends on how many children are in that birth order. So it's really interesting. If anybody
I'm gonna
wants
dig
to
into that.
read
What's up, little miss? We're playing this video for you, so I'm glad you're here.
If anybody wants to look that up and dive into that, it's interesting. But I think that has a lot to do with Shanny's stuff too,
Right.
And this is all speculation. I don't know this lady. I think I don't know her mom. I mean, none of us like actually know her, do we?
No, just from what
Okay,
we.
so I meant to look up that phenomenon I was talking about.
When something observed changes.
Yeah, but like it's through like the camera when somebody knows they're being like videotaped
Oh,
or
really?
whatever.
I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with that.
I forgot to look it up, but
It's okay.
it's like a thing. It's supposed to be like a phenomenon, and I think
I believe it.
we all
She
kind of,
clicks on.
yeah.
Okay. All right, let's continue.
Anyway, the father of her children's mother had
Hey,
multiple
Lawrence.
myeloma, and Shannon did nothing but make her life a living hell. The woman had to stay in her bedroom all the time. I finally got fed up with it. I'm going to be honest with you. I finally got fed up with it, and I said, this is it. I can't put up with this anymore. I tried to ask her to get things cleaned up. Let me tell you something. My husband gave up the bedroom to sleep in the spare room in a smaller bed, and I slept on the couch downstairs the whole time she was here.
Now that's quite a bit of like moving things around to make her happy. So you can tell that they've like,
Overly,
I mean, they've just been giving her
indulged
everything she wants.
Yeah. And scared, if I tell her no,
Yeah, she'd make them miserable.
She'll break. Yeah, she'll make them miserable, but she'll also like. I mean, I guess that's why I cried. I cried in the beginning of the video. I feel like a fool, but oh well.
No, that's cool.
I'm human.
I love to watch you cry. I'm just picking.
Thanks, babe. Thanks. That's real nice.
I'm just picking.
Because I just see the I mean, even now, look at her face, like the desperation of a mother and having 3 girls and knowing that, like.
Basically, she's lost one.
I love my child so much, and she knows it.
Mm-hmm.
She can get anything from me and does. And she's the taker.
And
she doesn't pour anything else into our relationship. I mean, how broken-hearted she must be, her mom.
I mean, Jeez. When you put it that way, it's like I can just imagine having to go through this with one of our own, That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Would be heartbreaking. All right.
And
hey, Carrie, what's up?
Probably wouldn't. I don't think that we would probably be aware of it until it was probably too late, like she is.
That's true.
It's heartbreaking as a mom.
With me, too, I'll be
gosh,
like, y'all, I just gave my kid a Sprite and a bubble bath.
Let me tell y'all what this. I like to brag on my husband because he's a good dad and he's a good husband. He was born to be a girl dad. I didn't have a girl dad, so I didn't know what that was like, and just to watch him love on our girls, and I just feel sorry for our girls' husbands, future husbands, because you have ruined them.
They're just going to be like, well, my daddy does this, and my daddy does that. My daddy would have done this.
Yeah, so
that's my plan, baby.
Just gave our 3-year-old a bubble bath.
With a Sprite.
A Sprite and a spicy juice is what she calls it.
Yeah.
Spicy juice with cranberry and a bubble bath. That is spoiled.
That's okay. That's not that big a deal.
Great dad. But yeah.
So they could have the master bedroom. And that master bedroom, a stench started coming out of it. And when I opened the door, it was at least 2 feet deep, full of garbage, food, clothing, God knows what else was in there. Urine. We found urine in a container.
Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you this. So this is a thing about the kids, is that they were kind of like, I don't know what you call it, feral, if that's the appropriate term, but they were like, open up a shoebox and piss in it, and that's just what they did. Like, everywhere they lived, like, they would just pee in places. Like, they didn't know, they had no formal training. I don't know.
You don't know.
I mean, she must have been just completely hands off with them, unless she was.
Hands off, you survive. We're hardwired to survive, right? So like, they didn't.
You're just gonna pee.
And how old were they? Were they in school? Were they going to school?
There was a lot of times where they weren't.
Okay, well then they weren't having any socialization.
Right.
So like, I have to urinate. What do? Well, I'll just do what I've seen mom do, or I've seen mom
tell me she did too.
Do, because she didn't want to take me to the potty or whatever.
Yeah, one of her kids is like on the spectrum, like in a big way, too. I think the younger one, is that right, guys? I don't remember which kid is the autistic, but I believe it's the younger one, the one that Rev kicked in the head. And have I ever told you about
You
that?
did tell me
Okay.
explicit.
Yeah, it's horrible. Anyway, let's. Zach. Zach.
Oh, that's a good point, chicken tender. Fear of leaving the room.
Huh.
If I leave the room, what's mom going to be getting into?
That's a good point.
Am I going to be able to come back in? Or
Yeah, because a lot of times in the Colorado thing, they were just like holed up in the room. Like if they would come in to talk to her, and she was filming, she'd be like, "Go back to your room." You know, she would just had nothing to do with them. So.
I mean, you can teach people behaviors, but that emotional abuse is stuff that of nightmares to unpack and heal from.
Yeah. I'm sure they have a ton of it. I hope that they do. I hope they never look back. Let's go.
And William lied about it. And she says, William never lies. Well, William does lie. You're the one who was spanking him because he lied about the urine. But it was spilt all over the floor. It took us weeks to get that. Oh, it's been 3 months since she's been gone, maybe more. Well, let's see. It was Christmas Eve when the cops got her out. And the cops know us, by the way. The police in Duluth know my husband and I. They know her too, all too well, because there constantly had calls for her in the past. You know, she lost her kids.
Is that why they know them is because of her? Or do they
Exactly. No, it wasn't like they were having drama besides her in the house. So there wasn't like domestic violence or anything like that happening. It was just.
I got to get through this. I can't.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Chris, she wouldn't have those kids right now. And that's the truth.
Hey, Bucky.
He is telling the truth on that. Now, I don't know why you had that relationship with what's his name's girlfriend there. You know, I don't know why you did that. Maybe, but I'm not going to judge you for it. I'm not going to. I mean, you went through hell with her. But, all I know is that her husband has made threats about us. He's even kind of poked a stick in there and poked the anthill about, what about what your parents did to you? What about your mother? Well, the only thing he heard was the day that she had her headphones on, and I went in and I pulled them off her head and I pulled her hair a little bit. I didn't like yank it off or anything like that. She wouldn't listen to me. I was trying to get her to clean that room up. I'm telling you, the stench was horrible. No one should live like that. And she was like, oh, you know, like she usually does. You see her on the videos.
I totally imagine she did exactly.
Wasn't it a depiction that was accurate?
I'm sure she did exactly that. Yeah. What's up, Sheets?
And I was done with it after that. I was like, that's it. You're getting the hell out of here. I'm not putting up with this anymore. I shouldn't have to. My blood pressure was sky high. It took me a good 2 months to get my blood pressure down after her staying here. The doctor was even like, you can't do this. You know, I had 2 heart surgeries. I have a pacemaker defibrillator over here. I have a portacath over here. You know, I mean, I'm getting worked up. This is why I didn't want to make this video, but I think I deserve to be able to tell my side of the story too. All the rest of this aside, the police came over to the house and they made her leave. William said that I threatened to kill him when the police were over at the house, and texted his mother that, which was William being an asshole, being a little asshole. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. He was being a little asshole.
William is the older brother, older kid of Shanny's. William and Zach are their names. So, you know, he made up something against the grandparent.
He made it up, or he spoke it out?
I think he made it up. I don't think she was abusing him. I mean, it's possible, I guess, but I don't believe it. You know, this is learned behavior, probably.
Right, learned behavior, but also like desperately seeking approval from a mother who doesn't even act like you exist.
That's true. I
You
mean,
know.
that makes a lot of sense.
Asshole. Just like he did the time he pissed all over the floor in his grandfather's room.
What's
I was a
up?
pediatric.
Little Miss said, "The life Shanny sucks from every living thing she encounters. I'm surprised those cats are still around."
It is true that she takes good care of her cats. It seems like, other than never
Wow.
buying them cat litter. Like, I know they're probably just dropping little nugs all over the house. I mean,
Oh yeah.
everywhere. Okay. Let's see. Street says, how come the other siblings of Shanny have never said anything about the abuse? I don't know. That's a good question, Streets. I would love to hear from them. I think a lot of people would. But I think that they're so, um,
Scared,
I
probably.
don't know if they're scared, but I think they are so, like, they burnt the bridge so hard that they don't even care to, like, we forget you exist,
Yeah.
kind of thing. You know, she wasn't
They're
at her parent.
probably afraid to come up against. When you come up against somebody that has these types of delusions and
Maybe it is scared. I can see what you're saying, though.
just like
Scared to get pulled into the
yeah,
bullshit, you know.
yeah,
I can see that.
And from what you've said, they made a lot of it about Shanny, right? I mean, they probably love their other children in different ways, but Shanny got a lot of the attention.
That's a
So
good
they
point.
probably are. That's probably why they're a lot different. You know, if you over validate your children and tell them how great they are all the time, and they never hear no,
Mm-hmm.
that's you're brewing and cultivating a environment for personality disorders. I mean,
Right.
it's not just from abuse. That some could argue that is abusive, enabling all the time. You know, always saying yes, never saying no.
Mm-hmm.
Always telling your children how wonderful they are, that they don't ever make mistakes. You know, that type of thing. I'm not saying don't tell your kids they're great. I tell mine they're great all the time. But I
Yeah.
also let them know, hey, you messed up.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We all mess up, but you're not perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your perception of things isn't always correct, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. I think maybe that's what happened.
I mean, it sounds right to me. That's kind of what I pick up on.
Nurse for almost 37 years of my
Yeah.
life. I would never tell a child I'm
That's a
going
good
to
point,
kill
Megan.
them. I would never do that, and especially my
True, Megan.
grandsons.
That's right.
But it doesn't matter. Shannon gets away with saying whatever she wants to people and getting them all riled up and worked up. I mean, hell, even while she was here and she wasn't doing well on getting the noose around Jason's neck, she was flirting with G-Man.
She needed
I
G-Man.
remember,
Some
I
would
remember
say.
clearly how she wanted to be with G-Man. She talked to me about it almost every night. But he was too smart for her, thank God. He even told her, you need to get out of your mama's house. Of course, she wasn't going to have that because she'd have to go get a job and she'd have to go actually, pay bills. She
What's
didn't want
that,
to pay
Hatfield?
nothing. I asked her for money to help pay. Once she gave me $140 with her first job. And that went towards the heat, the electric, and the water. So split that into 3, okay? Less than $50. Not bad, She could have been paying a lot more in a house that she lived in. When I think back in hindsight, I should have just, instead of bringing her to our house, I should have just said, Shannon, the house is yours now. Because my husband and I went over there and cleaned her house out. Oh my God, talk about a mess. The bedroom up in the boys' room, you get halfway up the steps and you could smell the urine coming out of there. For some reason, they thought it was okay to piss on the floor.
Nope.
I mean,
okay.
I don't know. Is there anything else in this that's enlightening?
They thought that was okay.
I don't know. We're almost there.
This, I don't like talking like this, by the
unless
way.
you want to watch something else.
But I'm fed up to here.
I'd like to end it on a funny note, or like something fun, because I'm so,
Did you kind of bummed out?
I need a nerve pill after this,
Yeah, I
getting
feel you,
ready for
baby.
work to deal with people like this tomorrow.
I
um,
get that. I do.
uh, I
We got
mean,
to
I
get you
think we
hard
have a
for these
clear,
cows. You got to
I
get you
think I have,
mentally strong.
I think I have a clearer picture as to what Shanny's
Yeah,
problem
for
is.
sure.
You know, I think her mom loved her like a little duck. The little duck that I'm gonna love you so
They
much
just
and squeeze you so much till
she
it
love
just kind of,
strangled her.
yeah.
That makes
And I'm
sense.
not blaming mom. I mean, mom's
I don't see how
she
you could
was probably
anticipate this
doing,
happening
no,
with your kid and
no.
like, it's
I
all
mean,
hindsight stuff, you know?
yeah. If you're not, you think you're doing the best for your, and if you're not a mental health professional, which most people aren't, right? Like, you don't know that telling your kid that they're great every day and all the time and not telling them no, you're just in your mind, you're just trying to help them, right?
Hmm.
You're not trying to harm them, but there's some harm that comes in the form of, I always clean up your messes, I always tell you how great you
Absolutely.
are, I don't, you don't, your perception is your perception and it's right all the time, and you know what I mean?
Hmm. Totally.
So I mean, she seems like a genuine lady that had her best, Shanny's best interests at heart,
No, Meg, I don't think she'll ever look at the OnlyFans.
What's that?
You know what OnlyFans is?
Yeah, I mean, I know what it
So they
is.
did an OnlyFans.
Who did? Her mom?
Shanny and Rev.
Oh, her mom. I'm like, her mom.
Shanny and Rev did an OnlyFans. Like whenever I think it was when they were getting desperate for money, they're like, "We'll do an OnlyFans. We have all these people that watch us anyway. We'll, you know, do sex stuff
No,
for money." And
we're not talking feet pictures. We're talking
no, no feet pictures. We talking the nasty,
no,
gross
thank you.
stuff. Um,
Yucky caca. No, thank
yeah, it's bad. It's bad. That's all I'll say about that. It's worse than you can imagine.
you.
Streets, you're better off. Trust me. It's stuff you don't. My mom used to say stuff like, "You don't want to put certain stuff in your mind because
Yeah.
it just will brew there forever." And it's so true. Like I do totally regret looking at some of that because I was like, "This is just stuff. It's just stuck in your head."
Well,
Like,
even we do that with our own kids. We say,
yeah,
guard your eye holes and your ear holes. Because,
yeah,
there's some stuff, once you see it, I used to tell my oldest that she wanted a phone, wanted a phone, wanted a phone. And, I was like, you're not getting that until you get into, or almost in high school, because there's things that you're going to see on there that you can't ever unsee, that I can't,
yeah. I get that.
protect you from. That's,
And Carrie made her husband Michael watch it on stream. Well, I mean, they didn't watch it on stream. They got his reaction on stream
wait, what?
to the OnlyFans.
Carrie?
Yeah, she made her husband watch it and just got his like, you got his audio reaction, and it was golden. I mean, he couldn't handle it. He was like, "Just turn it off, turn it off." It was it was great.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the soldier for that for sure. Anyway, all right, let's. I don't know what a palate cleanser could be. I don't really have set up to like look for anything. Is there anything you
So
can think
when
of?
can I ask one more question,
Sure.
guys? So when did she do this video? Do you know, like, what year?
Probably, um, it's probably around 2018 or 2019, if I'm guessing right. I think her and Rev got together maybe in 2018, somewhere around there. So this is, she's living.
So her mother is freshly deceased. Well, that's probably a gross way to put it.
Her
Her mom
mom
has.
died in COVID, during COVID time.
Wow.
So
Oh,
yeah,
I feel bad for her. I wish they could have reconciled that relationship. I wish Shanny would get help. I
Shanny
wish
has
she would.
said in the past that they reconciled. It's a lie. She never went out there or anything, but she said that she brought her mom out to visit her in Colorado and they did things together. Never happened. She never went out there. I don't know why she would lie about it. Maybe just to make herself look better.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
'cause she probably at the time was getting more flack about it, maybe.
yeah, I mean, her sister called her and said, I don't want anything to do with you, but I think you should know that your mom uh, died. And that was like the extent of it. It is sad.
with all of this stuff
Oh,
and her making
okay.
videos.
Be right back.
And it hurts. It hurts really bad. It hurts to know that my grandchildren have to live like this. It does. It hurts me real bad because I know my other two grandchildren are living a decent life. They have two parents that love them very much. And they're happy in the way a kid is supposed to be. She's in the bathroom right down the hall here, smoking on her hookah or whatever you call it, smoking weed with her boys down the hall. And William told me one day, he said, that's got to stop. He goes, she used to do that when my dad was there, talking about you, Chris. He said, but it's got to stop. And he wanted to put a stop to it. And I think the only way he knew how to do it was to try to get out of here and make her take responsibility. He's smarter than you think. He might lie, but he's smart. He knew what he was doing. He didn't want to lose her again either. I mean, the boys really do love her. If she could only just see that, and be satisfied with that. But she's got to have that negative,
That's so sad to me. When I worked for DCFS like 20 years ago, we would have children that were so abused. They were so abused. Ron, like, so abused.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I thought, this was before I had children, but I would think to myself, like, how could you ever want to go back to that? How could you ever? And I had a 12-year-old look at me and say, that's my mom.
Yeah.
That's my mom. I'll always
Something about
love
that.
Her.
Yeah.
I'll always want her to want me. And I've never forgotten that.
It's true.
Even with, in my own life, the desperate need for, like, approval and nurturing from a mother that can never give it to me in the way that I need, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or to anyone, really. It's heartbreaking because there's something in us that wants that. And for those boys they're always going to want their mom. They're always going to want her to want them and to be a mom. She's just not equipped to give that to them. She's just not.
I totally agree.
Not wired that way.
That's also a fear that people have, is that the older kid who is going to, is about to turn 18, that he is going to go back to the mom and she is just going to, like...
He will absolutely probably go back seeking that. I mean, I don't want to speak that over his life or anything, but
yeah,
it's like in us to want the people that brought us into this world to nurture us and love us and care about us. It's like in us.
Here's a good question from Little Miss. Stevie, would CPS ever take a child out of their home just because the mother is sick? I know the answer, just want to hear it from someone with first-hand knowledge. So
not because they're sick.
Yeah,
now,
so
if they're like, it depends on what kind of sick.
So this is what Shanny said. She said whenever her kids first got taken from her,
I remember you telling me this.
She said, CPS and us, like, we decided together that it would be good for them to go in the system so that I can get better, because I'm so sick, I just can't give them what they need. This is whenever the kids were...
That may be a way that a worker might have put that to her, like, if she's mentally ill or suffering with
just to ease her mind for what is going to happen anyway.
But I don't think that they would tell her that. I think they would say, like, we're taking your children because you have, whatever, substance abuse issues, because they're being neglected or they're being hurt physically, you're not taking care of them, they're not able to thrive or even survive in these circumstances.
Right.
So, like, this is why we're taking, this is a case plan. You have a case plan to work. If you work your case plan, you can have your children back. But we have to see that you're working your case plan and you're actually succeeding at these things and you're able to
making an effort.
Implement the things that you've learned, right?
Right.
From child parenting classes or substance abuse treatment or whatever it is. But no, they're not just going to take somebody's child because they're sick, like physically sick. No.
And what really got them taken for good was the fact that Jason had physically abused the kid, the autistic kid, kicked him in the head and like I think punched him a couple times, like really messed him up. And the older kid called, the cops. They came and arrested
The
him.
older kid might come back seeking vengeance. Who knows?
I mean, I hope he does. Some kind of somewhere in my mind, I hope he
A
just goes
drunk
and whoops
person
their
is
ass.
easier to take out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they told her at that point that if Jason came back in the house, that it was going to be a problem. And then they accidentally gave it away.
Because he's the abuser, right?
Right, exactly.
He's the perpetrator.
He is the abuser. So on stream, everybody found out that Jason was back in the house by accident. Like they gave themselves away accidentally. So then within days they were gone, And then that's whenever she made up the whole, oh, I'm so sick and this is just a temporary thing until I can get better. And she just never did anything after that to try and get her kids back.
I think that's her way of
justifying.
Yeah, not being able to take responsibility for the things that she does, because if you take responsibility for it and you don't change it, that makes you insane, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So if I take responsibility for something that I have and I have the power to change it and don't change it, then that also makes me
horrible.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I think that her psyche, her delicate psyche, because that's what we're dealing with here, could not.
There's no turning back now.
No, she could not take responsibility for not being a good mother to her children, especially with the delusion that she has of being raised by a parent that was an abusive parent, right? So,
Little Miss says, I think William might come back to help Mama, but she doesn't think Zach has those same feelings. I mean, that's probably true.
Zach is the youngest.
Zach is the younger one, that's right. Yeah. I mean, Zach got beat by him. Why would he ever want to come back? And he's been adopted at this point, too.
If he also struggles with autism, then he probably struggles with social, social situations, and like what he probably is very like cut and dry type person. Like this, there's not a lot of in between with people that have autism. It is what it is, and
yeah. All right, let's finish this.
Attention. Always. There's this negative attention. But anyway, when the police came over to get her out of the house, yes, it was Christmas Eve, but she was screaming and yelling and causing a lot of trouble. She took, instead of cleaning the room, she took and she shoved a good portion of it under her father's bed. Okay? I mean, my husband works hard. We don't have the greatest house in the world. Our house is, over 100 years old. But he takes a lot of pride in trying to keep things nice in it, And he didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve that at all. We didn't do anything. She came to us after you left her, Chris. She came to our house, and I didn't know what to do because of the kids. But if I think in hindsight, I should have made her stay there at the house that you guys were renting, because she could have gotten a job and she'd probably still be there, well, until she roped Jason in. He's going to find out. He will find out the hard way. But I'll tell you what, if he threatens me or my husband again, he just needs to know that the Duluth Police Department know about them. Both of them.
Yes.
We have it written down.
It is?
How'd you know that?
There's a paper trail.
I don't know.
And he better watch his step.
Isn't it Debbie? Am I wrong? Betty. Or maybe Betty.
Betty?
It might be Betty, not Debbie. Close, though. And Red found out. He sure did. Chicken Dinner asked, would social workers take all our YouTube videos into consideration for any future decisions that may need to be made?
I sure hope so. I don't know, because, like I said, it's been 20 years since I worked for DCFS.
Thank y'all, Betty.
But
Betty.
I would...
I mean, there's no more decisions to be made for them at this point. She has, forfeited her rights to her kids.
I mean, after a year,
served papers, and
they'll give you 2 years.
I think they gave her 2.
If you make a little effort, because they don't. It's it's a financial burden on the state to take your children.
Right. They don't want to take your kids.
In our state, they had a big scandal that went on a few years ago.
Really?
Oh yeah, huge scandal.
What was the scandal?
There were just foster homes that were being approved that were not.
They weren't up to code?
No. They were
That's
abusing
scary.
children. There's a lot. There's a lot.
That's super
And I
scary.
don't want to
I
get
bet that
into it because I
happens
don't want to be
happens
like,
a lot more than we like to believe too.
yeah, I mean, you know, I have my own stories about, I just went in and packed my things one day and left. Like literally no
I'm sorry that
warning, just
happened. I
like,
mean, that's gotta be.
well, I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot of that goes into working someplace like that. So
I'm sure it's
my
traumatic just
point
to
was,
be in that job, you know.
yeah, my point is that like it's a financial burden for the state, right? They also want you. They want to. This is the premise. They want you to uh, learn what you need to learn to take care of yourself and your children, right?
Hmm.
If you not, they recognize that like not everybody was given the tools they need
Which
to
is true.
live or to survive, and so and trauma is often handed down generationally. So, it the thing with it is like we're gonna give you these classes, teach you how to uh, provide for your children and live, and then maybe you can do better,
Are
and
there
then your
like
children
parenting
can do
classes
better.
that people take for
Parenting classes, there's anger management, there's substance abuse treatment, and a lot of all of this is paid by the state because
they don't have the money to,
a lot of our clients didn't have, they were
and it's
on
probably less than putting a
Medicaid
kid
or
into the foster system to pay for all that stuff.
absolutely, yeah. But also, more importantly, it reconciles the child with the parent, and you know, there's some healing that can happen, hopefully.
Okay, here's a good question from Little Miss real quick. Um, she, okay, I don't know how to correctly phrase this, but what sort of contact with the parents does DCFS give teenagers when they're removed? Like, how much is somebody like Shanny able to see their kids? Um,
That is totally up to the judge. That's
really?
totally up to the judge, yeah.
So, I mean, what's something that's typical
So,
in that
like,
case?
in her case, if she didn't work her plan, she doesn't get visitation rights at all.
I
All
mean,
of her rights are
there's not
stripped.
like a weekend a month where she can like
But
go and
yeah,
visit
like
them
during the
somewhere.
process of her working her plan, yeah, there's visitations that are set up depending on the type of abuse.
I mean, will they bring the kids to
It's,
the home to visit or anything like that, or does she have to go to like wherever they are?
I mean,
How
in
does that
my
work?
experience, it's a mixture. They're not going to bring you to the home. They're the children to the home. They meet up at DCFS location, right?
Uh-huh.
And depending on if it's supervised visitation or not, they will watch your interaction with your children.
Can they call them anytime? Can you talk to a kid if they're in DCFS custody? Like
You're not supposed to, but sometimes that does happen, especially
if they're in like a
if
foster home or
familia,
something?
yeah, or like a family member takes them.
Is that something that happens
It
too?
happens a lot.
Okay.
I mean, it's like I said, it's not supposed to sometimes, but it does,
Later sheets. Okay, let's continue real quick.
I have pictures of what the room looked like. I'm not going to show them here, but I have hung on to them in case anything else, happens. But now she's in Pennsylvania. She should just go on with her life. She should just go on with her life and stop making these crazy ass videos and trying to get everybody all stirred up and just expanding the hatred. She's married now. She's married to this guy. She's supposed to be focusing on how much they
Jason.
love each other.
But
Rev.
they're
But
They're
she
not
won't
married.
do that.
right?
They
It's
just say it.
heartbreaking. I apologize to my followers or my subscribers for this video. This is something that had to be done. I'm not going to keep this video up here, and I
Wait.
promise you that I'm going to go back to my garden content.
Oh, she does garden content. Okay, that was my question. Like, wait. She's got.
I wasn't aware of it either.
Apparently, everybody has a YouTube channel, but me.
We're gonna get you there, baby.
No,
You're gonna have
no,
your own
thank
channel.
you. No, thank
No,
you.
well, you're here with
I
me. This is your channel.
Learned that this weekend scrolling through the lives. Remember, I was showing
Yeah.
you like I had about 14 egg videos, ways to cook eggs, different people like on live.
That algorithm got you.
On the
Uncle
loop.
Al got you.
It's crazy. I was like, this is insane.
And I'm not going to ever make a video like this again because other than what happened with my daughter, our lives are pretty much normal. But it had to be done because she won't listen. And I just wanted her new husband to know that he needs to stop threatening us. I mean, threatening a 62-year-old man who had his knees replaced and has to take blood thinners. And his heart isn't doing too well either.
Chicken tenders said too many eggs. I'm telling you. And they was cooking them all kinds of ways.
Eggs are great. That's sweet of you to say, Little Miss. I think she's doing a good job too.
Thank you. I'm just being me. It's funny to me that people.
She being a real one.
To me.
She's real. Hey, that's the truth, though. You are real. Just
so
like...
desperately. Oh, we only have 3 minutes. Let's try to.
Yeah, because I have 8 fib.
We can do it, baby.
I do in session sometime. Like, okay.
You don't want to know what I think about you right now doing that.
You are 80.
You don't want to know. But I can let it go. Because I can take a little bit of pleasure in the fact that you're going to find out the hard way. And I'm not going to say I told you so, but you're going to hear it in your head. But anyway, that's all I got to say. That's my side of the story. Chris was a really good father. I don't believe he raped her. I don't believe it for 1 minute. She has lied about
She claimed that.
this stuff over and over again with other people.
Now, I would believe that she raped him.
There ain't nothing you can do if she gets on top of you. You just lay down and take
it. And I don't believe he abused her in any way. He's never been an abusive person. As long as we've known Chris. We've known him for several years. He's never been abusive that I know of. I mean, I just don't. I mean, it really was when she explained that he raped her. It was so out of character that I was like, you know, I didn't buy it, but I wanted to stay on her side because she's my daughter.
Exactly.
She didn't go and even
Thank you,
get a police report on it for like a month or so. She didn't even go to get STD checks until several months after that.
Because she was the one that had the STDs. She was giving them out.
No, she means like she didn't. No.
That she had them, and she was divvying them out.
No, the thing is, she's saying that she didn't say that she was raped until months later, and at that point she went to get like STD checks as part of the process of like whatever, maybe, you know.
I'll turn on my call.
There you go.
Oh, I mean, who's telling the truth here? I mean, this is miserable. I kind of wish I didn't make this video now, but it has to be said. So I hope you got the message, Jason and Shannon. Good luck to you. I hope that you get the help that you need, finally. But it won't be coming from your family anymore. We're done. We're through. Just want you to know that. I don't take pleasure in it either. I think it's horrible how things went down. You would feel the same way as a mother, or maybe not. You seem to put yourself before your kids all the time. Right now, Jason's only seeing the honeymoon phase. He'll see what you're really about. Okay, that's it. That's all I got to say. Take care, everybody.
Well,
thank you for sharing.
That's Betty.
Yeah.
She's dead now. It's
Poor
sad.
Betty.
I don't remember which one died first, if it was the mom or the dad. Like I said, both real close in time. And there's another interview where it's her and the dad talking, which is longer, but we're not going to do that one. Maybe some other time.
Or maybe I'll just watch that on my own time.
You can, sure. Get the vibe and stuff.
Like, okay.
I'm trying to, y'all are welcome to send me any kind of videos that you'd like for Stevie to look at and decide, you know, like just to talk about it from a professional opinion. I think it'd be good. We've all seen everything before, so, you know, it's nice of y'all to hang out and stuff, because I know this isn't the most interesting stuff. If we've seen all this stuff 10 times.
No,
but
sorry, not interesting.
No, you're interesting. This is what's the good part of it is.
Mom that has a career and a wife. That's all I am.
You're awesome, though. I love it. I'm glad you're doing this with me. It is fun for me to, you know.
I like that we get to connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we get to, like, laugh.
This is fun.
I still want to show them our watermelon wood lady.
Watermelon wood lady.
I love that lady. I don't know why. I just do.
We watched her the other night.
She's.
Let's see. I guess I could try and dig her up. I don't know. I'm hesitant to
We
like
have to
fish
a la
around on a
manger one
computer
of her watermelons. This
unless I dox myself. I'm trying not to do that. Um, let's see. What is her name again?
Bob, Pinky Bob.
Pinky Bob. There he is. Okay, so y'all, this is a lady that lives like right.
You keep saying that. She lives probably about an hour and 20 minutes.
No
from
way.
us. Yes, baby.
Sugartown is like 30 minutes from
No,
here.
it ain't.
Go right
I'm
down
telling
the
you.
road. You can. It's almost a straight shot. She's in Louisiana. Okay, we're gonna agree to disagree, but she is. She's doing something with her life. I mean,
Look, Little Miss knew too.
okay. We'll watch a couple just because it's so crazy.
This is the one I was trying to get them to watch last time. Hold on. Why does it not have sound?
Truck. Bring it on home, split it up in two, and get it all ready just for you. Because when you want it, I got it. When you want it, you know that I got the good wood for you.
Good wood
Out
for
to the
you,
woods, I cut it
y'all.
down a lot.
And
I love her.
can I just say?
And get it all
Hold
ready.
on. Okay, so that's the. I don't know how to pause it. It's
I
like
don't
the
either.
autoplay thing. I
Okay.
can just turn off the sound for a second and we can talk about it. She has her homemade Pinky Bob Goodwood t-shirt. Like this is straight up a meth head thought that she just like
And this is
brought
supposed
to
to
life.
be a riff on Wicked. Like there's a
Wicked?
pink, yeah, there's a pink and a green, and she's got a hat. Yeah, it's like a little.
It's a rough.
She makes her own raps and her own songs to other people's
All right,
stuff.
let's watch a couple more.
Also,
Yeah,
when
tell
you
me.
said meth, I want to let you know that she is an avid denier
Who
of
isn't?
ever using drugs.
I've
Like,
seen people with a crack pipe in their hand deny it.
said she has never used drugs in her life.
I mean, she smoked her brain to mush.
No, not one time.
Never.
She says.
You don't get looking like that unless you get a little help. And I'm telling you, cigarettes alone don't do that. Don't do that to your body. Okay, let's watch.
Do you know what's in a cigarette?
Okay.
Okay.
Or crack, apparently.
You're gonna burn. Good wood. Your propane won't light. It won't hit your home like it should. So what you gonna burn? Good wood. So go on and burn it, burn it. You know you wanna burn it, burn it. Yes, you can burn it, cause it won't leave you in the cold. Are you feeling a chill? And your name is fun.
But
So what you
Joel,
gonna
this
burn?
is how she earns her money,
Good
y'all.
wood.
And look, this is
Propane
she
won't
does her
light.
own PR
It won't hit your home
campaign.
like it
This
should.
is her.
So what you gonna burn? Good wood. So go on and burn it. You know you wanna burn it. Yes, you can burn
Joel.
it,
I'm
'cause
sorry.
it won't.
Okay. There's a lot going on there. I imagine she bought that off of Amazon, her Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
And her piece of wood that bounces.
Yeah, it's like a pillow or something, huh? Oh Lord,
But
here we
look,
go.
There's so much here
Yeah, that's
that I'm
not
in
crack or anything
love
up.
with. No, like she doesn't do drugs, she says.
You know better.
Well, I want to believe her though. Wait,
What's this one?
This is my favorite.
Right.
I can't even breathe.
Let's grab a sugar town melon and a few beets town. Baby, that's all I need. We can go
Look
to
his
the
face.
lake and call it a day. Yeah, just you and me. Or we can go to the stand, hang out with my friends, and we'll party till the sun goes down. 'Cause
Oh
I've
my
been
God.
picking melons and all winter I was chopping wood. So now it's time to chill out, 'cause there ain't no doubt my years are hard but good.
I mean, I'm almost jealous of her. And let me tell you why.
Why? Because she's so free.
Yes.
She's free of her teeth too. Have you noticed that?
She's free.
They done flew the
She's-
coop.
Look, she's free to go pick watermelons and chop wood. She ain't got to answer to nobody.
She's a woman of the land, huh?
Yes, look at this. Look at all these watermelons.
Hey, and y'all,
and they're
those
so
Sugartown
good.
watermelons are the bomb.
They are the best.
They're the best ones I've ever
I
had.
think they might actually feed crack to them, to the watermelons, because they're so good.
Dude, they're amazing. What else she got in here that's worth
So
looking
much, just so much. Just I could literally spend a long time.
at? Well, I wanted to say about that last video, I really love that she got 12 people involved in her video, like set them all up
Well,
so
they're
that she
all
could do that little. Yeah, they are. Of course they are.
Let's see.
Good wood. What are
Yeah,
these?
that's the name of her company, Good Wood.
Well, I mean, hey, if it's working for her, I bet she sells a lot of wood too, like locally.
She does, and she does, and it's funny because it doesn't
It's
get
her gimmick. I guess it
that
works.
cold down here. I mean, it does, but it's like a week out the year.
Yeah, it's a seasonal job for her for sure.
This is just
Show me another
fascinating.
one.
Okay, let's do one more. I'm sorry, I can't pick. They're all so good.
Well, then anyone will do. What are these ones that are close up on her face? Is this like something different?
They're just pictures.
Oh, okay, just pictures.
Is that a squishy on her head?
Yeah, this looks like a little octopus, huh?
Well, Mardi Gras is coming up.
Oh, okay.
And I can't wait to see what she's gonna do for Mardi Gras.
And she looks fancy as hell.
She don't do drugs.
No, she's good. Good for her. Good for her. Okay, we need a video though.
Okay, well, hold on. She pulls people in with her. Like, I don't know. I don't want to do those.
We're gonna dig up some more of these because Stevie's Instagram algorithm turns up some gems. I mean, she's ruined it.
I'm just screwed. My algorithms.
Show me one more.
Up front, only got a rake in the back now. I got more, gotta split it up and stack it up. You want what? All you gotta do is give me a shout. I'll load it up, bring it over. Stand back and watch you burn my wood. I'll eat your home. Burn my wood, get you so warm. Burn my wood all night long. Burn my whoa, burn my wood. I'll eat your home. Burn my wood, get you so warm. Burn my wood
Oh my
all
gosh.
night long. Burn my
Decent money. You know what? I bet you she does.
She probably. That's a good question.
Because those watermelons they're usually anywhere from $5 to $7, and they'll load up a whole trailer.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll say, oh, you can get 2 watermelons for 10 or 2 watermelons for 12 or whatever.
Right.
And I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, they sell these watermelons everywhere around this state whenever it's time, so they are good.
Little Miss said that she would buy watermelon and wood from her. She is putting in some effort, right?
She is. I give her that. She is doing something special.
I mean,
for her.
She can't hold a tune. But
no, she's horrible.
She is making these.
What's this one?
You let me split
Look
and
at this
shape
poor
you.
man. What is that?
You don't mind it if I break you. So burn it, I need to feel that fire. Burn it, I need to heat my home. Burn it, I got the good wood desire. I wanna let it burn all night long. I wanna burn it like a caveman. I wanna feel the heat on my inside.
Oh, she's doing a 9 Inch Nails song.
9 Inch Nails. Well, you can't never tell really what the song is.
What? Man, she never needs to be in music.
So one more and then we
we
gotta
know
go?
we're running. I think a few of us curved. But from the way that old tree fell, we all knew that it could have been worse.
Get it, girl.
The workers came last Monday. They fixed my roof and patched my wall. But they told me I had to do something with the tree that caused it all. You say I must be crazy. I'm out here selling good wood. There's gotta be a better way for me to heat up a neighborhood. But those home repairs were expensive. I'm just trying to get some of my money back.
Look at her heels.
And that tree sure made a lot of good wood when it cracked. So y'all come on and get some.
Y'all come on and get some good wood.
Well, that's wonderful, baby. You know what you need to do?
I love her. I love watching
I need you
her
to make me like a playlist of Instagram stuff that we can go through.
Just Pinky Bob?
No, like.
Oh, I don't know, Joel.
It's just as you think about it and be like, oh, this is a good one to add to it. Just make a list or just send them to my whatever. We'll play a couple. That'll be our palate cleansers for whenever we're doing something that's heavy, you know. Well, baby, I love you, and I'm so glad that you have let me bully you into doing this with me. It's been fun.
It's been fun. I appreciate everybody that comes to listen.
Yeah, it's fun. Y'all are all champs in my book. Thank
Yeah.
you all. We'll do it again soon. Probably not tomorrow, but
Thank you, Little Miss and Mega.
yeah,
and
all of you.
Chicken
Granny,
Tender,
Chicken Tender,
Corey.
Streets.
Corey's not on anymore, but
Yeah.
Streets. Yep.
We'll see you next time, and I'll probably make an announcement on my community tab or something like that to let y'all know.
Bye, guys. Have a great week.